Hello everyone, and welcome to the daily analysis. So this is for the the 7th of February. So we do have the NFP tomorrow. Keep talking about this, but obviously this is the one time in the month, so it's the first Friday of the month, and the NFP is the big indicator for the US dollar. So that's commencing at 1:30 p.m. So what the game plan is really, what I suggest is kind of to avoid trading for the long term. If your trading style is long term, to obviously kind of wait for the this news event to happen and then look at the market afterwards. Just purely based on the fact that we can start to see some manipulation with the US dollar, and you're more likely to get stopped out. And one thing I've noticed as well over the past few NFPs is that until this time, normally during the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we typically get some very slow movement. We're more likely to see that, especially on the Friday morning, and lead up towards 1:30 p.m. So obviously it varies from time to time. We may get some huge pushes just depending on the news, but typically it's much more of a waiting game, and the volume's very low. Trading ranges until the NFP breakout occurs, and some people um, move their position, your stop losses to break even, or put it in a much more secure place, or take profits even early as soon as that happens. No one really knows exactly what will happen at NFP. That's why it's such a very volatile moment. So personally, I like to leave the day and take it a day off, and look at the markets for the next remaining day. What I mean by that is the next week. So looking at GBP/USD, we had that huge close to the downside now, so we've actually broken this level here. Now, essentially, we want to see if we can pull back into this area, and eventually we may be looking at further progression to the downside, or we may pull up. It just depends how the NFP works out. Euro USD, we're looking at another bearish fall as well. Remember this confluence that we have very closely related to Euro USD and GBP USD. So we had some rejection candles here, but that momentum candle was not strong enough. We had the wick from the upside and downside indicating some bearish pressure. So it's very important that we understand what the momentum candle looks like. And obviously, if you did take that buy trade, then unfortunately you'd have been stopped out very quickly during this 4-hour bar here. So this is a very strong bearish candle. And now we're looking for a pullback into this area, which we're currently seeing, and it may be till early morning we could start to see a push to the downside. But like I said, it's just purely waiting on the fact. You could play a very short-term trade, but you have to be very careful for the NFP. You're more likely to get a big stop loss, stop hunt. What I mean by that is very big wick to the upside or downside, and it's going to take out your stop losses. So it's important to protect your capital when you can, and this is probably one of the biggest periods to kind of avoid trading really. So touching on to USD JPY, a good buy opportunity here, slowly progressing upwards and upwards. So possibly look to slowly move your trade to break even if you've done so already during closer to the NFP time. We could start to look at hitting this reversal zone here. And finally, with gold, we had that huge push to the upside, to the downside, followed by upside, then downside. So it was a very ping pong effect, like I was talking about. And effectively, we had that huge wick rejection, followed by a big, strong momentum to the upside. So if you did buy that from this level here, a good amount of risk, to be fair. But obviously, I was talking about this from last week, is adjusting your stop losses to make that 1% of your account if you're able to do so. And this is gonna hopefully continue to rise. We'll see exactly what happens, but essentially should have taken a buy order from that point, and we'll see exactly how far the NFP will take the gold. So yeah, so that'll be all for the analysis for today. Make sure you check in, especially for the news for tomorrow, NFP. and that's at 1:30 again. And yeah, so if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.